The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome, everybody. So sorry for being a few minutes late getting started here. I almost had to cancel. I've been trying to log in on GoToWebinar for about the last half hour and couldn't get it open. So anyway, I finally resolved it by kind of sneaking in kind of a back door and got it all to work. But I hope none of you are having trouble with the access page. We're up and running now. So today, quickly again to go over our housekeeping. This is being hosted by California Capital, and I'm doing all of this as a volunteer. I just really like helping people get businesses off the ground and using technology to do it. So California Capital has a lot of other services available. You want to take a look at their website and all they have to offer. They're a real asset to the whole Sacramento region. So whether you need the education program or coaching on how to get a business plan together or how to go after work with government agencies, they're a great resource. And one of the ways they get funded is when I volunteer my time for this class, I log my time and turn it into them, and then they turn it into the SBA and they get matching funds. But they also need evaluation forms for the people who attended the class to show that they're happening and being attended. And we appreciate those as well so that we can get feedback and I can continue to make the class better. So in your handout section on your GoToWebinar panel, you should be able to download those. But if you don't see them there, you can come over to our class website, and I'll go back here to the home. And you'll find it right here, the SBA Training Evaluation Form. So whenever we're done with each session, please download this form, and then you can complete it and send it to Sophia at the email address shown here on the website. So that's our quick housekeeping issue. And then if you have questions, feel free to ask them as they come to mind. And I'll try to look occasionally while we're talking to see if anybody needs anything. And I'll try to address it while we're still on that same topic so it doesn't age. All of the videos are being posted here under session recordings. So if you've missed the previous session, feel free to go back there and view it. And I try to get the sessions up the evening after the class takes place. So after this evening, they will go up shortly, and they should be available by tomorrow. I also made sure that I went through all of the requests that came in since the last class, and I believe I've completed all of those. So if you requested a plugin or a theme, they should be in place. If you don't see them there, let me know and I will add them. That can be done pretty quickly. In fact, if you send me a message here today, once we get through everything, I'll do it while we're in class so that that's just another example of things that people can watch and see how it's done. But pretty simple once you've done it a couple times. So today we're here to talk about monetization. So there's a description of that here on our class schedule. We're in session 5. So I won't read this whole thing out to you. That would be pretty mundane and boring. But we're going to cover a lot of different ways that you can use the web to make money. So a lot of people have regular brick and mortar businesses where they're using the web as like an online brochure and for publishing and for outreach and that sort of thing. Other people want the website itself to be what can generate some revenue for them. And so that's what we're talking about today. We're going to cover a lot of different things, including e-commerce, direct sales and advertising, online courses, putting content behind paywalls, affiliate programs where you can sell through Amazon and eBay, creating job boards that can make some pretty good money. And we'll talk about some third-party tools that help you assess how good your site's going to be for visitors when they arrive, and that affects your search engine optimization and your Google rank, and that of course has a lot to do with how much money you can make off the website. So we'll want to pay attention to that. And then, as usual, we'll take a break around 7:30 for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back on and resume. And I can usually stay on a little later if people have more questions and things like that. And if not, you feel free to contact me anytime after the class. So let's get started. Well, as usual, we've got that. I'm going to go ahead and close that, close some of these tabs as we go. Hopefully the site won't be going too slow with all of these tabs I have open. And this is our back end of our class, our dashboard. We'll be coming back here later to look at some things like WooCommerce in particular. And the things we're going to cover are all, let me get this arranged. I was spending a lot of time trying to get in on GoToWebinar. So my screen's a little messy here. There we go. This spreadsheet, I believe, is available already on our class site, but if not, I'll add it after the class. This is a Google Doc that I'll put a link to it on the site, and all of the links that we're going to show today are included here. So you don't need to worry about capturing them all. Of course, I'm recording this, so you can come back and watch it, but that would be a bit inconvenient as well. So I'm just going to put a link to this Google Sheet on our website, and you'll be able to come back to that and find it under today's class resources. So you can open it up and go straight back to any of these links that we discussed today. And as you can see by the different ways I categorize them, we'll be spending the first half of the class talking about different affiliate programs and how to use those, how to make money from them, and then the advertising and getting paid for ads on your site. And then the second half of the class, we'll talk about paid subscription services, members-only content, and direct e-commerce, and then some of the tools that you can use to assess your site's performance and make sure that it's really ready for prime time and that you're going to get some traction when you go to market and not have people coming to a site that's down or not working, like almost happened to us today when I couldn't get into GoToWebinar. And I've got a project myself that I'm working on, and we'll probably be we've got it seeded, and we'll probably be going out for VC money at some point soon. And I was talking with somebody over the weekend about that, just to assess good strategies, and it's really not that hard. So, well, I guess if you've got a decent product, it's not that hard. But there are a lot of ways to make money through some of the things we're talking about here, and I'm happy to share those and answer any of your questions to the best of my ability. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is Amazon, and that's a big one in the affiliate program market. One of the things to pay attention to is the commission. We got Shutterstock up there for some reason. Let's get back to where we were. Okay, Shutterstock should be way over here. Amazon is here. All right, so with Amazon, you can put up any links that you want to products that you want to push, and generally they're going to be products related to whatever your business is. So if you're or whatever your market is, you can really specialize. So, for example, one of the sites that I'm going to at some point develop in the future is called SierraRetail.com. And I'm planning on a lot of hiking, outdoor, sustainability type products. So I can go in through my Amazon affiliate account and pull products like that in. I can determine what products I want to show. So I can evaluate the products first and see if they're the most efficient. Say, for example, the most efficient solar chargers or the most efficient storage batteries that have the least amount of toxicity or are rechargeable or recyclable. Type things like that, basically sustainable products for people who follow what's called a low-HOS lifestyle, lifestyles of health and sustainability. And I can target those products in Amazon and advertise them on my site. If anybody comes through and purchase them, then I make a commission. The amount of that commission varies based on the product and the volume and what how much you're moving. So you can do it that way, and another way that people do it is to have a blog. So, for example, let me see where I have his. Yeah, this guy, Ken Rockwell, is an example of one. So if I pull up Ken Rockwell's site, he does photography reviews. So he reviews, he's agnostic in terms of, most of the time you have a Nikon, Canon type of following. And, it's like Coke or Pepsi. People tend to line up on one side or the other. And what happens is with these particular products, if you buy one, you get lenses. And when you start accumulating lenses, they're more expensive than the cameras. And they don't fit each other. So once you get started down a path, that tends to be the path you go down and develop loyalties to for a product. But anyway, he does reviews of everything that comes out. So new cameras, lenses, and then he does a good review. It has nothing to do with him making money off of it. But if you click on any of these and read the review, then he's got links back to his Amazon account, and he's got another affiliate account as well. And if you buy a camera through that link, then he'll make a commission. So what he delivers, his content are his reviews, and his product is the cameras if you buy them. And that's how, if you think about how television works, the only purpose of the content in the big economic picture is to draw in eyes to show the ads to. And if you notice, if you watch Netflix now, as opposed to a television show on a regular commercial channel, public channel or whatever, they'll usually have 20 minutes of programming for every half-hour long show. So that means you're spending 30% of your time, 1/3 of your time, looking at ads, and you don't feel like it because you're entertained in between. And the purpose of that entertainment is to keep you looking at ads, and that's how they make their money. So same concept here. Write a blog or do something else of interest. Say take a tour across the country and photograph all the national parks, or do something on whatever interests you that you think might have a following, and you can write a blog on it. And then when you describe products and things within your blog, you can put links to purchase them for anybody who might be interested. That could include recipes. You know, if you had a cooking site, you could have links back to Amazon Prime or something like that. And that's how you can monetize a site that way. Another one is job boards. And this is one that I've had quite a bit of success on over the years. And those are through Indeed. So if you look at Indeed.com, Indeed recently bought, what was it? I can't remember the name of the old one now, and I used to have an account with them as well. But anyway, they're now the largest job board network in the world. And what you can do is create an affiliate account with them, and it shows you how to, you can create a revenue stream. You're basically what's called a publisher. So you can set up your account. They'll want your tax information and that sort of thing. And it explains it all right here. And again, you'll have access to all of these links, so you don't need to worry about writing this down or anything. But you can come in, set up your account, set up your payment system, which with me, I use PayPal. I don't know if they offer different options. And then put up the jobs on your website. And what you do is just create a website that links into the Indeed system. And let me see, I'm gonna check one here and see if it's up. I've had an assistant doing some work for me on this. Whoops, helps if you spell it right. We are looking for recyclingjobs.com. Here we go. Okay, so you can see that there have been jobs posted recently. Here's the climate and sustainability analyst and writer, sustainability program coordinator. These were all published within the last couple of days. There's June 13th, 3 on June 12th, 4, 5 on June 12th. There's one on June 11th. And these are all about environment and sustainability. And so I could optimize this to come up high on job searches like that. And if you were to take a look at any of these, let's say full-time environmental educator, Hawaii, that sounds like fun. All right, I have to go fill out my application for that. You can see that it looks like it was posted by me manually. And all this really is an RSS feed. So, and I see a question that came in. I'll get right back to you on that. So with this feed that comes in from Indeed, if anybody were to come through and click on this job and read more about it, they just made a commission. So you're not supposed to click on your own jobs. That's not why I did that, but I just made 10 cents by clicking on that link. And so if you can market your jobs well and have them come up high in search engines, then you can make a good amount of money doing this. And I know because I've got, I don't know, some months, thousands of dollars that come into my PayPal account. and I don't have to do anything. I haven't logged in on this site myself in more than a year probably. It's all on autopilot, but it generates income, passive income, which is what a lot of people are trying to achieve as a retirement plan these days. So I'll get to a couple questions here. Our first question, are there no qualification process before one can sell on Amazon or publish on Indeed.com? Not really. Anybody can fill out an Amazon affiliate account, and you'll see they have a couple of screening questions, but not much at all. But what you're doing in this case, your question says sell on Amazon, but what we're talking about in this case is selling Amazon products that are already listed on Amazon. But we'll get to selling on Amazon in a different part of the session tonight. So what we're talking about here is, let's say, Clean Canteen stainless steel reusable coffee mugs. They're really cool. I know them. I know the company up in Chico. I like them. So if I wanted to promote that product, then I can show that product on my website. But if you click that link, it's going to take the purchaser to Amazon, and they'll buy it through Amazon. So Amazon does all the fulfillment. All you are really is an advertiser for Amazon, and then you get a percentage of the sale, but they take care of everything else. They do the shipping, the order fulfillment, the customer service. You don't have to deal with any of that. Otherwise, if you're selling your own product, that's where you fill the order and ship it out yourself. And then if you're selling through Amazon as a third party, that's a whole different set of rules, but that's slightly different than what we're talking about now. Second question here. So they post the jobs onto your site that relate to your industry. Yes. So what you can do is, when you're setting up the job board, when you're setting up your account, you can use one account for multiple industries. So I have, trying to remember the number here, approximately 120 domains that are related to job boards. And I tend to focus on environmental type of things. So I have watermanagementjobs.com, airmanagementjobs.com, landmanagementjobs.com, greentechnologyjobs.com. So I own a lot of those types of domains. And then whenever I log in on my account, I can set up, I can tell it what keywords I want to filter on. So say I wanted to use the words recycling and sustainability. Or if I have, for example, I also have OregonConservationJobs.com and Washington Conservation and Colorado Conservation and California Conservation. So I can also isolate by state. So I can say, show me only jobs that have the word sustainability in them and are in the state of Colorado. And you can, that works better than having one big job board, because you want to be able to optimize for search engines. So if I have one big job board, then I'm competing directly with Indeed, and I'm competing with Monster and Career Builder and all the really big established massive job boards, kind of like the Amazons of job boards. But what I want to do is create microsites so that I can focus on a specific thing. So like recycling jobs. So I could use one account, one Indeed account, but I can set up hundreds of job boards, all with a different focus, and then put in the keywords for what jobs I want to show there. And they can be anything, manufacturing, auto repair, waitressing, bartending, any jobs that have interest. I always tell people to, when you're going to work in an industry, don't just do it because it seems cool or lucrative or something like that. Pick something that you really care about and work on that, because to be successful, in my opinion, you have to be working on something that you value for more reasons than money, something that you're passionate about. And something I care a lot about is helping other people and helping the environment and that sort of thing. So if somebody were to try to hire me to build a website selling different types of paint for racing cars or something like that, I would have no interest in that at all. But if somebody, even if they were going to pay me, I wouldn't really want to do it. But if somebody came to me with no money and had an amazing cause, I would want to do that for free, and I'd like it better. So at least try to align your work with your values, and you'll feel really good about what you do every day. Then it goes beyond just generating some income. Next question was, is there a way to leverage your LinkedIn account to do this? Absolutely. I've got somewhere between 10 and 11,000 LinkedIn followers right now. And I created some job board groups before because I happened to have been a recruiter. That was the company I created in Chicago that went national pretty fast, and we became the largest in 3 different industry segments, the largest in the country within about 5 years. And I kind of retired when I was about 35 because of income from that. Then some different things happened, and I'm back to working. I'm not independent financially anymore. But I'm enjoying life, no question about that, just because I love what I do. And so what you can do with LinkedIn is set up a group for your industry. And if you really want to go wild, just let it go wide open. So I did that with a couple of boards, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I just created the boards thinking I might need them someday. And I just opened up the groups and then didn't do anything with them, which is not what I recommend. It just happened out because I was moving and working on different things, and so I didn't come back to them in a while. But when I came back and looked at them, some of these boards had 3, 4, or 5,000 people that had joined these groups, and they were now self-surviving, and I was the sole owner and administrator. And so, for example, I have one that's steel industry jobs. And so if I wanted to put together a job board with steel industry jobs, all I'd have to do is even put links in. Like I could take these links every day and feed them straight into my LinkedIn account. And in fact, you can have it as an integrated system, which is what we're going to talk about next week. So this week we're talking about how to set your site up to make money. And next week we're going to talk about then how you market the site and how you do outreach and leverage social media. And one of the systems I'm going to show you is fairly amazing overall. I don't like to say things like that about my own products, but I've shown this to about 11 potential customers so far, and everyone has bought in the very first call. And that's the kind of thing that, let me see if I had it open here. We'll wait until next week to dig into that. But it's the pretty cool social media things. I have one client paying me $1,000 a month on a retainer to use the system, and it's worth it. But I'm going to be showing all of you how you can basically recreate it for less than $50 a month or even free, depending on how far you want to go with it. But we'll talk about all that next week. I don't want to get too far ahead, and we have a lot to cover today around making some income off of websites. So you get the idea here. So this is recyclingjobs.com, and until we moved the server recently and kind of messed up our SEO, if you did a search on recycling jobs, this site's come up #1 for, I guess, 5 of the last 6 years. And so anytime somebody did a search on recycling jobs, this site would come up first. They start clicking through jobs. My commission builds up. And then once a month, Indeed deposits a check or makes a deposit into my PayPal account. And I don't have to do a thing. Because I've set it all up on autopilot. I even have my copyright automatically updating every year. So you can create a bunch of these, and again, they're like planting seeds in a garden. You can get one account that can put up dozens of websites on one account for like $10 a month or less. And you can have one, now your domains will cost you, I'll just say roughly $10 a year. They're not that expensive, but they are a cost, especially if you're going to get a lot of them. I know. Believe me, I'm always surprised by how much I spend on domain registration. But anyway, you can get a bunch of them up on one website and then optimize each one for that specific type of job so they come up high in search engines. And then as people visit those, or you can even advertise them, do paid ads through Google, as long as you're making more money than you're spending. And you can also promote it yourself through like LinkedIn and Facebook and newsletters and that sort of thing. Okay, so I think we're caught up on questions here. Someone asked if I do one-on-one meetings. I can at times. I have a fairly tight schedule, but if you want to send me an email and let me know what you'd like to know, I might be able to help you directly in the email response. And if it looks like it might be beyond that, then we can talk about setting up a time, and just send me all the information ahead of time so we can use our time efficiently, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's go back to our list here. All right, so we talked about Amazon, Indeed, and this is a affiliate program for WordPress. So let's say that you are, the whole idea is about outreach. So once you have something set up where you're selling things, and you just need to drive traffic to your website. And that's the key to everything. If you get enough traffic on your website, you will make money if you want to. Just by even some of the things that we're showing today, or doing direct paid ads. But the key is traffic. So if you ever bought an ad in a newspaper for a business, you would ask things like, they'll send you their spec sheet and it'll tell you all the demographics. So here are the number of newspapers that go out. The newspapers are a good old model example of how these things work. They don't make money off the newspapers. So I remember when I was in Chicago, I had an office in the Loop, and I'd see people every morning. It was the standard. They'll walk up to the machines from the Chicago Tribune, they'll drop in their quarter, and they take out the entire stack of papers. And then they put out a donation cup, and they hand out papers as people walk by. And they do this on like every corner. And I thought, why would the Chicago Tribune not be policing this and shutting these people down? So I happened to end up doing a recruiting job for them. And we talked a little bit about that. And they don't care, because the objective is to get the papers out. They don't make money from selling the newspaper itself. That barely covers the material cost. All their money comes from advertising. So they would rather have somebody take a quarter, stick it in, and take all the newspapers, and then hand them out to people and make sure that every paper gets distributed, because then they can, when somebody goes to buy an ad, they can say, yeah, our distribution is 1.5 million papers per day. And if they had people just sticking the quarters in the machines, that might be 1 million. And I'm making up those numbers, but you get the idea. And so those papers being distributed was worth more than the quarter somebody'd be expected to pay to get a paper. And that's what we're talking about here too. The more eyes you have, and there are measurements, there are metrics that you put in place so that people don't get cheated, because this is such a big deal these days, is if you were going to sell ad space on your site, a professional ad buyer would want to say, how many visits do you get? What do your demographics look like? And want to know how much traffic you're getting, so they know whether or not it's worth spending the ad. So same old model, only now it's online. The other thing you can do is, for example, with that affiliate program that I mentioned, sorry, these got a little out of order. What I'm looking for is the affiliate program for, well, I'll tell you what, instead of following this order, I know they're all up here. I'm just going to walk through these in whatever order they're in. Oh, here we go. So this was it here. So this affiliates program lets other people sell your products for you. So for example, on one of my sites, greeneducation.us, it's a learning management system where we sell classes, and a lot of people from the city of LA are taking classes right now. And what we do there is we have an affiliate program that works with WooCommerce. So any consultant in the sustainability field can put ads for our classes on their site, or put them out in their Facebook or social media. And when somebody clicks on that, then they come through to our site and make a purchase, that gets tracked. And we have PayPal accounts for all of our affiliates. And just the same way Indeed pays out a commission to you as an affiliate, we pay out a commission to people who are doing that as our affiliates. And you can do that yourself. So whether you're selling, homemade jewelry, or your own paintings, or any type of service, or software as a service, or subscriptions, you can create an affiliate program and have your friends promote the program through their own social media or websites. And if anything comes through, then they have a chance to make a commission. And you set what all of those numbers are. And I see here there's a question that's come in. Is there a plugin for this metric, site visitors? Yeah, one of the easy ways to do it is with Google Analytics. So, well, I don't know if that's specifically covered in any of the classes from here on out, but I'll make sure I have it open and ready to look at for our next class. We'll talk about some of the Google products here at the end of this session, but Google Analytics is free. You can you create an account, and then you register your website with it, and it allows you to track all that activity. And there are plugins for the back of the website that will show you your own analytics. So you can see it there as well. And next question, a way to capture daily traffic to market to others. That is a narrow road these days. That's been a real moneymaker for a lot of people for a long time. And as you know, there's more talk of privacy, especially after what's going on with Facebook. That's how Facebook and Google really make their money in numerous ways. One is selling ads and getting just the straight ad revenue, but the other is also selling large, massive amounts of data. I think Facebook, possibly more so than Google. It could just be it's getting talked about more right now. But Facebook just over the last few days, it's come out in the news, at least in the last week. I read a lot and get confused on which day I read what. But within the last week, it's come out that Facebook was selling massive amounts of data to a few really large companies. And they weren't supposed to be, apparently, according to their own rules. But that's what they were doing. And there are big data aggregators, we'll say. And those aggregators will go out and they'll buy data from everybody and then plug it all into one huge database and then resell that as subscriptions to people too. And now there are a lot of new rules coming into play. The GDPR is what we talked about when we were talking about site design. And you'll probably notice a lot more warnings and things coming up on the websites that you visit. More disclosures, we'll say, than warnings, talking about how they capture your data, what they do with your data, your right to remove your data, those types of things. So if you want to capture data and sell it to others, and that's what a lot of apps do too, you need to write that into your terms of service, but then also make sure that it's included in your privacy statement to be in compliance with GDPR. Then obviously you have to have a lot of traffic that creates a massive enough amount of information that somebody would want to buy. If you have 10 visitors a day or something like that, it's probably not going to be worth much. If you have 10,000 visitors a day and they're buying things, then it's probably worth a lot. Or if it's a specific demographic that somebody's trying to reach. So, for example, in my sites, I could say that I've got 10,000 people interested in recycling that visit every day. So if I wanted to sell that data to somebody marketing to people interested in recycling, I'd probably have something worth doing, but I don't do that. I don't have a model. In fact, on my sites, I guarantee that I don't release my third party to any third parties or any data to third parties. But anyway, that's how you would do it, though. So that's the affiliate program. So on any WordPress site with WooCommerce, you can create your own affiliate program just like Amazon has, where you pay others to market your materials, market your website. Now, this is another example of a more broad affiliate program. And so this one is called CJ.com, the CJ affiliate program. And you can go in here and see what it's all about. In this case, it's mostly about this company will go and establish all the different advertisers for you. So this could be anything from, Macy's to Nordstrom's. I don't even know who all they represent here. But if you read through this, you'll see what it's all about. Here you apply, and I don't know what kind of standards they have. I haven't applied for one of these accounts in a long time. But you go in and you apply, and then they'll tell you who the different companies are that you can represent. So let's see if they show some of these here on their network. I don't know what they're going to tell us here. Let's see. Some of them will show you who they advertise for. I'm not seeing a list here. They might be trying to keep it to themselves until you register. So the advertisers are the people who pay, and the publishers are the people that get paid. So here's a list of their publisher requirements, if you'd be interested in those. That's what they're looking for here. So they tell you what they want to see. So optimize your website, have good content quality, professional design, have time to commit, create a game plan, be professional. It all comes down to the same things, really. And then once you are ready to do something like that, then you just sign up as a publisher, and then they'll want to look at your site to make sure that it's aligned with the type of stuff they're promoting. We wouldn't want say like, I don't even know. I don't want to give examples, but we'll just say somebody who's say selling vapes or cigarettes or something like that. If there was a church website, they probably wouldn't want to advertise cigarettes, or a health website, something like that. So you can determine it has to be a good match from the publisher and advertiser side for it to work. Now, here's another system where you can sign in and become an affiliate. This is brown paper tickets. So you can sell events, or market events and do it through this system. And almost every place, if you look and go down in the bottom, you'll find a place where you can become they call it publishers in a lot of places. Here's resources for developers, but you can build stuff like this into your own system, but not have to take care of all the stuff on the back end. Let them take care of all that, and you can make money that way. WooCommerce. So this is the big e-commerce system, and this is the one that most of you will use if you're going to be selling something on your website. It's definitely the largest in WordPress, and you can sell just about anything from there, whether it's digital downloads or physical products, and they even now have an add-in that works with Square. So if you've ever seen somebody that has a cell phone with a little device hanging off the end at a fair or a music festival or something like that, and they just slide the card through, the Square was the company that started that system. And now it ties into WooCommerce. So let's say you sell your own, I don't know, winter sportswear or something like that, and you're out at a festival and you take a charge on Square and you sell a XX hoodie, then it's going to know to take that hoodie out of your inventory, and it'll update the inventory that you have listed on your website. So it helps with inventory management. It helps with ordering. It uses PayPal or multiple other platforms to process the payments, and you can do just about anything that you want there. It really works out pretty well. iTunes. A lot of people don't realize that you can sell anything on iTunes. So say you like music and you want to, or even a particular musician, you can put up a website and then sell through their affiliate program. Here's their linking tools, the affiliate resource site, and you can resell music on your site. So say you, for example, go to concerts and do music reviews, or you do reviews of guitars or whatever type of music equipment, or you just write about the scene. Whatever you do, you can go into the affiliate program, put up the appropriate music on your site and sell that. And you're usually not limited to one. I would think that some affiliates wouldn't want you to use other affiliates on the same website, but I've never seen rules written up like that yet. So maybe that's not something we need to be concerned about. So you might have music on one part of your site, and I gave the example with crretail.com earlier, where we would have hiking and sustainability stuff. Well, a lot of those people like music too. So I could also have music someplace on the site for people interested in that. And when they click through, they're buying through iTunes. So again, you have no responsibility for fulfillment. iTunes takes care of everything, and they take care of all the customer service. You just make a commission off of each sale. And then eBay. So you can also become an eBay partner and sell anything that's available on eBay through your own website. And again, make a commission from that. Here's another affiliate program. This is one of the biggest. This is Rakuten Marketing. I can't remember what they used to be called. They changed their name not long ago. But here's another example where you can come in and become an affiliate. And these people, I believe, represent everybody from Starbucks to Macy's. I think they used to have some of them listed here. Well, here we go. You can see here along their crawl. So these are all some of the brands that are using Rakuten Marketing. So you can sign up as an affiliate, and you can sell products from any of these companies on your website. And when somebody goes through and makes a purchase, you win. You get a commission. So again, it's all about driving traffic to the site. But this is a way you don't have to create your own products or do your own order fulfillment. That's the part that becomes difficult. If you get into your own retail and you got your own products, and let's say you're even buying them from a wholesaler and marking them up. In fact, one day I was in a Costco and I saw a woman with like 30 shirts. And I wondered if they were like for a team or something like that. And she was going to do something with them, but they didn't look like sports shirts. They were button downs. And the woman to register said, wow, that's a lot of shirts. And she said, oh, yeah, you have great deals here. I picked them up here and I put them on eBay and I make like $10 a shirt. And I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. But also, is it worth $10 to have to package up a shirt and put it in a box and then ship it to somebody? I don't know if I'd want to do that for just $10 a shirt. But you get the idea. So that's if somebody's doing their own retail. But here, you don't have to do any of that order fulfillment or shipping or customer service. So if you're just one or two people working together and you want to have some income, this is a nice way to handle it. You're basically outsourcing all of the other work related to completing the order. Here's another way that you can make some money from kind of your own knowledge with self-publishing through Amazon. Now, this is along the lines addressing that first question about selling on Amazon. So you can sell products on Amazon too. And you probably notice whenever you go through and do a search on products, sometimes they'll say that this product is provided by a third party. So that's a different type of thing than buying direct from Amazon or selling products that are already listed on Amazon for a commission. And this is more like that, but it's with your own publishing. So if you've ever had an idea for a book, you can write the book yourself. All you need to do is write it in anything that you can convert to a PDF. So you can use Google Docs, you can use Microsoft Word, you can use Open Office or Office Libre, anything open source, and write your own book and then publish it through Amazon. So you end up getting a book ID. And in fact, I wanted to see how common that was. So I just started searching self-published to see what would come up. So you notice if I just put in the word self-published, here's self-published children's books, tarot, journals, graphic novel, comics, poetry books, short stories, novels. So that's just for the heck of it, we'll check children's books. Okay, so these are all books that somebody like you or I just sat down and wrote in their house, and then they put them up on Amazon. And they did it all on their own without a publisher, without a publishing house. So I don't know how much sales they've got, but they're getting some good reviews here. If they've got at least 126 reviews, I assume they either have a lot of friends and family that did reviews for them, or they've sold at least that many copies. And so this is a cool way, and you can do it just as a Kindle edition. So I would, because I don't like the idea of using paper. So I've been paper free. I want to do everything paper free. So that makes it really easy. And I see some sponsored here. So some people are paying to prop theirs up. And of course, this comes up how to publish a book in Amazon. So they're selling us a book telling us how to do what we came to this page to learn how to do. So you get the idea. So there's another way to make money that doesn't cost you anything other than time to put your book together. And then what a lot of people do with ebooks especially is use the ebook the same way we talked about a blog. So if you're writing a book on a subject, we'll just stick to photography since that was the one site we looked at. If you're writing a book on photography, in your ebook, you can put links to products that would then go back to your Amazon account. So if you're doing a review of the latest Nikon or the latest Canon camera that came out, all you have to do is have links to those products in your books, and they can click on that in the ebook, go directly to Amazon, make the purchase, and boom. So, if you're writing a book on fishing, then you link to fishing gear. If you're writing a book on skiing or snowboarding or skating or sailing or whatever your interests are, then you link to those products from your Amazon account into your ebook, and your ebook becomes an entertainment thing that also sells. Same concept again as television. They entertain you enough to get you to look at the ads, and TV, I don't think they measure metrics to see how many people actually purchase. They just know what demographics they're generally reaching, and they can say, okay, sales went up as we advertised, but they don't have it much more than that. Here you could even have tracking in each link. So you would know every time somebody made a purchase, you'd know what page it was on, what you said that got them interested in that. And you keep fine-tuning your own work and publishing more books, and they're basically big infotainment advertisements for you. but they're good enough that their content stands alone and makes people glad that they read them. So it should be not be your first priority to advertise. First priority is to deliver good content that they like, but you can put advertising in there and be completely open. Put it on their first page in your opening or something, that the majority of your support to continue your writing comes from the affiliate programs linked through in the book. Feel free to read through and enjoy without clicking anything. But if you decide you like one of the products, we'd appreciate it if you purchase it through one of our links. Something that's straight, open, and honest, so it doesn't look like you're trying to pull a fast one. And I think there might even be rules coming out to disclose that with all the new changes that are taking place on the web. One of the issues we might be talking about next week, we'll see how far along everybody is, but even with Facebook, they're not even reviewing new apps anymore. I used to make a couple of apps a day for Facebook, and now they're not even, they need to go through a basic review process, but because of what happened with the elections and the scandals that Facebook's been drawn into here, they're upping their game, and they put a hold on reviewing any new apps. So with a lot of these things, they're constantly changing, which is why I always tell people don't depend just on social media. Your website should really be your center of your whole communication system, because that's the only thing you control 100%. Whereas with Facebook and others, LinkedIn got bought by Microsoft a couple of years ago. Nobody saw that coming. Microsoft could buy something like LinkedIn and completely change the rules overnight, and there's not much you could do about it. But your own website, you can control completely. So that should always be your focus. And then, well, we'll talk about it next week in social media, but imagine the hub of a wagon wheel, a spoked wagon wheel, and all your social media platforms are out at the end of the spokes, and your website's the center hub. And as long as you do that, you're not too reliant on any one platform that you don't control. Okay, so that's Amazon self-publishing. The other way that you can do things is through direct ads. So you can sell ad space on your own site. And here's an article that I popped up. I don't know if I show it here. I'll just pop it up here just in case. So this gives you an idea of something we talked about earlier, and someone asked a question about it. So how much to charge for advertising on your website. So this will give you some idea of what they want to look at. Metrics, traffic, different pricing models. So this would be good to review if you're trying to figure out where to price your site. And this is a little bit dated, but the concepts will be the same. And as you grow traffic, then you can obviously get a lot more out of it. Google AdSense. Here's where you get paid by Google. So where most people pay Google to advertise for them, I like the model where I get paid by Google instead. I think most of you would as well. And what you do with AdSense is, let me see if I'm going to open up a new one here just to be sure. So ads you can count on. So here's what you do. Well, there's AdSense and there's Adwords. So one of them is where you're paying to advertise. And that's where I said you can put, as a publisher, you can put Google ads on your site, and then you get part of a commission too. So if you allow Google to place ads on your site, and you can determine what words you want Google to use to, again, make sure you don't get inappropriate content for what you're doing, then from there, if somebody clicks, Google pays you. And that's the same on YouTube as well. But YouTube is also going through that same situation. So they changed their process recently, where you have to now have at least 1,000 subscribers and at least 4,000 hours of viewing time in the last year, I believe it is, before you can choose the monetization option on your YouTube account. And this also goes back to the last elections. They found that there were people making money inappropriately, I guess, and they didn't want to see that keep happening. Now, the other cool thing is the other half of this is so you can use Google to advertise your own products, or you can advertise others' products and get paid. So with using Google to advertise for you, what they'll do is give you an account, and I think that one's Adwords. Let's go to Adwords. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So this is Google AdWords, and this is where you advertise and pay them. But the reason you want to sign up for this is not so much to pay them for ads, but because they want this to be a successful program. They provide a lot of different tools for you. So when you sign up for an account, you'll go in and it gives you tools to analyze what keywords you should use. So again, I'll just stick to the camera thing. If I want to sell cameras on my website, I can put in different words and it'll tell me the statistics around those words and which ones would be the best to use for my own ads. And what I use that for is not to create my ads, but I take the information Google gave me. So it's telling me what people are searching on, right? So these are the words that people are searching on to find the products that I sell. Once I know that from Google, I just take those same words that it gave me and I build those into my site myself for search engine optimization. So I'm letting Google's machine and their AI and their algorithms tell me what the best words to use on my website are. So I just don't use the advertising. I just use the tools they gave me and made available because I have an advertising account, but I never pay for it and I don't have to. It's all completely legit. And so I'll let Google place some ads on my sites and make money from Google, but rather than pay them to advertise, I just use the tools and analytics and data that they give me to advertise, but I do it all on my own. And that's how you can maximize what you can get out of that without needing to pay a bundle. Okay, so that's Google AdSense, where you get paid by Google. Paid directory listings. This is Connections Pro. So this is an example where you can have a business directory, and this is all just a WordPress plugin. I think that's here. Yeah, so this is a WordPress plugin called Connections, and it creates a business directory where you can have listings up there and let people pay to be listed. So, for example, I have one domain I thought about for California sustainability consultants. So I have casbc.org and .com and .net. And that's a pretty catchy, I think, because there used to be SBC Communications, but CASBC could be California Sustainable Business Consultants. And I could have a directory up there where people would come in and list their consulting services and maybe pay $10 a month or $10 a year. I don't know where I'd price it. It probably depends on the amount of traffic. Or you could get a deal with them where you say, if anybody finds you through my directory, then you pay me 5% of what you get from that account for a year, something like that, and set it up that way. So then you can make money basically having a listing. So if somebody pays to be in a directory, they could pay to be in your online directory. And that's also all done through PayPal. So that makes it pretty simple. And then Abe, here's another affiliate program, though I think Abe Books, I'd have to check on this. I think Abe Books got bought by somebody recently. I should look into that. I can't remember who it was. They're a really cool bookstore, and they were kind of known as being a real kind of mom and pop shop that went big, but stuck to their values and that sort of thing. So I need to take a look at, let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought I caught a glance of it somewhere, but this is the same type of thing. So join our affiliate program. And so you could join this program as well and sell books through Abe Books. So if you don't want to go with the big guys like Amazon, here's a 5% commission. And there again, you could just list books related to whatever subject you're talking about. All right, so that's Abe's property listings. So this one is Realtina NA. That's just one example of a property website or software that you can use in WordPress. And I did one here that's working out pretty well for one of my clients. Whoops, I went too far. Or did I? Okay, I think I'm coming full circle here. Sorry about that. Oh, it keeps jumping on me. All right, I know where I'm trying to get to now. It's right there. So this is the WPI Pro platform. I'm using this for one of my clients that has a real estate company. He has 5,000 properties for rent in San Francisco. Actually, the more of the Bay Area than just San Francisco. So you can purchase this system. There are systems like this for free too. I used this one because it had a lot of features that we didn't have to code ourselves, so it made it an easy starting point. And then this is the website. So here's their homepage is just imagery, some things they wanted up there. But you can go in here and say, show me all the 2-bedroom studio apartments you've got available. And here they are. Or you can go in and then down here are pictures. And if I want to see details, I can click on any of them and it shows me the property, the gallery, information. Boy, $3,500 for a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's still unbelievable to me. Now I see why people are living in their cars. So anyway, that's where this is an example of using Realtina, and what you could have, say, for independent realtors, you could put up a site like this and charge them $25 a listing or something like that, or have them subscribe for a year for unlimited listings and use the system. And each user can log in, set up their own properties, and change them, change prices, whatever they want. And that's all just using a WordPress plugin here. And that's how you can make money putting up the site. Either do it for real estate companies like I did here. They paid me to create the site. But the other thing you can do is you put up the site and then charge realtors to add their listings. So those are the different ways you could use that. And then domain cache parking. If you've got a bunch of domains that you're thinking about using for something else later, you can register those domains and then allow the registrar to use them for advertising. So if you've ever come to a domain and it says something like, it looks like you're looking for cameras, and then it just is a kind of a blank page with 10 different links on it to cameras or something like that, that's probably domain parking. And you'd make, again, a small commission if anybody clicked any of those links. And that's just while you're getting ready to develop your domain, not while you're, you wouldn't want to probably use that as your final program. I don't know how much money you'd even make unless you're really good at it. But anyway, that's another way to do it and make money off of your domains. And we have one more question in: is there a way to make money from podcasts? Yes, I was going to have something up on that. I had a podcast thing ready to show, but I noticed somebody else took them over, and they aren't even online again yet. It said 17 more days. There was a countdown or something like that going on. But you can make money from podcasts. Again, it's advertising, and you can even advertise yourself, like on CNN and things like that through their programs. So if you really want to get your products out there in an efficient way, that's one way to do it. And I'll try to find some more information on podcasts that I will see if I can get out to you soon or for our next class. And then I've got one more question here I'll answer, and then we'll take our 5. We're a little bit past 7:30. And so the next question is, do you recommend buying all domain options, .com, .org, .biz, .us, .info? If you can, I recommend at least getting the TLDs, the top level domains of .com, .org, and .net. Only because if you don't get them all, somebody else can, and they can diminish your brand or dilute your search engine results. So somebody could buy a domain very similar to yours, and especially if somebody already got the .com. Because .com is the one that people tend to defer to just off the top of their heads. That's the first thing they're going to type if they're not just clicking a link. So if somebody else already has the .com, I'd probably look for other options, and depending on what you're doing. If you're doing a nonprofit, then .org is the best. But otherwise, you want .com, .net, .org, and that just keeps somebody from coming in and doing things you might not like that would be contradictory to your business objectives. Put it that way. Okay, so with that, I've got 7:33, and we'll take a break and come back at 7:38. So I look forward to being back with all of you soon. And in the second half, we'll cover some other ways to make some income and some tools to make sure that your website's in good shape when people get there to visit and purchase. So we will be back soon. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope you were able to refill your gin and tonics and are ready for another half hour of fun. So I see one more question that popped in. What is the next best domain if .com is not available? That depends a little bit on what you're doing with it. If it's a community thing or a nonprofit thing, I would use .org. If it's an internet-based business or a network or something like that, I would use .net. And there can be other unique cases too, where another one would be more of a fit, like a .info, say a directory. Especially if you could get a really cool domain like, business.info, or whatever else you were involved with, then that can work for a directory type thing. In one of my platforms, the LMS that I've mentioned, and I don't know if I have that here to show. I think I planned on it. Yeah, that's down here. We've got a learning management system, so I'll show you that there. In that case, we picked greeneducation.us because we are really going to market it as .us. So we were playing off the idea of it's all about us. It's all about us as a community and us as individuals. So don't look elsewhere. Look to us. And as you as an individual, it all starts with us. So we were doing greeneducation.us as a marketing ploy. That's that we were considering. We actually never followed through with that concept, but that was why we picked that one. So there might be unique circumstances where something other than a .com, .org, or .net works well. But .com is your preferred. Even if I had a nonprofit, I would want the .com too, just to take it off the market. So it's worth paying the extra $10 a year to not have somebody come in and have their website come up every time somebody does a search for you. So it's worth doing. And it won't come up just because of that. It used to be, there was a technique called exact matching domain that was almost a sure winner to get you to the top spot in Google. So I think we've used an idea before of somebody with a flower shop in Sacramento that sells red roses. I think we even said West Sacramento. So if you really wanted to get everybody in West Sacramento that's looking for red roses, you could have a domain called westsacramentoredroses.com. And then all over that site, all you have is red roses, West Sacramento. So that's what you talk about. That's what you show pictures of. It's what everything's about. Red roses, West Sacramento. And so if somebody in West Sacramento did a search, where can I buy red roses in West Sacramento? You are definitely going to come up number one. And so then you could have one for yellow roses and one for violets and one for tulips and one for whatever. So as cheap and fast as you can put up websites these days, like for example, you build one and then you clone it. You can literally make, a couple hundred sites in a day and then just go back through and customize the words in some of them. And in fact, if I were going to do it, I'd write a script to do all of that automatically. So I could push a button and create 100 websites that would just change all the keywords and all the titles and that sort of thing. So Google got a hold of that and said, wait a minute, something's not right. And so they stopped paying as much attention to that. So if somebody just happened to have your same domain name as a .com when you had the .net, but it was completely different types of products. And I can't even think of a quick example off the top of my head, but that might need the same domain. But okay, we'll just say Malloy Company. I'm just going to make that up like a name, Malloy. If they had malloycompany.com and you have malloycompany.net and you made lawn and garden equipment and they did paintings or something like that, you're probably not going to have to worry about too much crossover on search engines. But still, I would get them all if I could. And if the .com's not available, .org if you're a nonprofit, .net if you're a network business. Other than that, you can look at the .info, .us if they fit what you're trying to say and do and how you're presenting yourself to the market. But other than that, I'd probably try to look for a different domain option. But avoid hyphens and avoid anything that you have to spell. And you want as few as syllables as possible. So that's a general rule to go with. And of course, be reflective of what you do. Okay, so let's move on to the second part here. One of them is newsletters. So one of the tools that we have installed right now is MailPoet. So you could have a paid subscription newsletter that comes out, And one of the things I'll be showing you how to do next week that's really cool is fully automate your newsletter, which is just amazing efficiencies. I have to show you this. I'm too excited about it myself. And let's see here. I just had one open a little earlier. I'm just going to show you one slide that'll kind of give you a feel for it. Here we go. Here, I'll open up the PDF. That'll be faster. So this is a system that I currently have a client paying $1,000 a month to subscribe to, and I've shown it to about 6 other clients so far. No, more than that. Every single client I've showed it to wants to buy it. So it's a pretty cool system, and I'm going to be showing you all how to kind of set it up for free here, basically, if I can get my PDF to respond fast enough. And we'll be going through this in more detail next week. But this is our new Chat Badger system that you'll see coming live to a website near you soon. We're at chatbadger.com. And what it can do, it's an automated social media management system that blows away the best system you can currently pay for on the market. And I'm not kidding, because I know I've been paid to basically assess them for a client. And when we found how much they charged and what it needed to do, we realized that I could make something better, faster, that could do more and be better in every single feature offered with the best system on the market right now. And that's what we did. So we're coming to market with a product. And I'm already being approached by venture capitalists that are wanting in on it. But getting some good advice from friends who've done well with startups that are telling me to hold back for now. So that's where we're at. But basically what it can do is you can set up all your own source feeds, and you can filter content on any topic that you like, and it'll come in and create content for you in either a draft form, or if you're comfortable with how all the filters are working, you can set it on autopilot and not have to do a thing. And then you push a button, and from there it'll go out to hundreds and hundreds of social media accounts. It'll populate newsletters based on specific subject matter. So in this case, we wanted to generate some newsletters for these recycling market development zones, which are manufacturers that use post-consumer products, materials to make new products. And so we wanted a specialty letter for that. And then we wanted another letter that would go out to the general public, more along things of what do I do with a mayonnaise jar? You know, can I recycle the lid on my plastic soda bottle? Those kinds of things. And then we're going to get really cool because we're building bots that are going to answer all those questions. And that's why I'm having so much fun right now. But anyway, this part can also be fully automated. And with the systems that I'll show you how to use next week, the system that I currently have a client paying $1,000 a month for, and numerous other clients already signed up. We're rolling it out for them. Seriously, every single client I've showed it to has wanted to buy it in the very first call. And I'm going to be showing you how to do all this within your own websites next week for free. Just about for free. It depends on how many features you want. You might have to pay for one premium plugin on WordPress, but it's pretty cheap. So anyway, that's what we're talking about there. So that's all about the propagation stuff. So let's get back on track here. Oh, and well, here we go. Whoops. Sorry about that. I try to have all this stuff staged to keep us efficient, but the best laid plans, you know how that goes. So newsletters, that's why we got off on that little tangent. Let's say you have somebody who wants to keep an eye on what's going on in any particular market. It could even be some commodity market. Like let's say that there are groups of people who invest in grains, you know, like corn. You could set up a system that goes out around the internet and captures all the information that came out in any day, anywhere in the world on corn. And I mean it. I mean, anything that Google could find, we can literally set up. In fact, Google works for us. We can set up search terms and alerts in Google that will feed right into our system. And so say you have people who are interested in following the corn market. We can set up a system that tracks thousands of periodicals and publishers across the world and puts every article that gets published about corn into one newsletter that could go out once a day, once an hour, once a week, once a month. And it can be an entirely automated system that once you set up, you never have to log in again. And that's not an exaggeration. And so you can have a system like that. And as you start building followers because of all these people that need to know everything about corn every day for their investments, then you can start charging for advertising to all of those types of people. Probably be commodities brokers in this case, for that example, but you get the idea. Or whatever you wanted to do with it, but you cannot fully, or you pay them. They get paid. They have to pay to subscribe. So it's the kind of thing where you can even show an excerpt, and if they want to read the full content, they have to pay. And you're doing this with other people's content, which seems so crazy that you'd be able to do that, and it would be legal, right? If you put something up, like I can't record a movie on Netflix and then put it up on YouTube and make money because a bunch of people click on it. That's clearly a violation of intellectual property rights. But with these systems we're talking about, they do it for us. I mean, they want us to do it because they follow that newspaper model. So within your links, within your feed, you're putting that content on your site, even though it's all other people's content. But if somebody goes to your site to get that content, you always have a link that goes back to the original source. And that's what they hope. So you're then what? You're promoting them, and that's what they want. So you're promoting all their materials for them, but you can still charge subscription fees through something like MailPoet with PayPal. So somebody comes in to subscribe, they might pay $20 a year, or if it's really exclusive and important and valuable information that they can't easily get somewhere else, you could charge them hundreds of dollars a year. Attorneys pay crazy amounts of money to subscribe to the databases for case law and that sort of thing. I used to have access to all that through grad school. But anyway, you get the idea. And then the other one is webcasts and webinars. So you can charge for attendance on those. And this is where I have Green Education. Here we go. So this is my learning management platform. I have one partner in this. I built the website, and she's selling all the classes. And we're making some decent money off of it. We're selling the classes at, we have one program that's up that's, I think we're selling it for $1,250, and we've had a lot of people sign up. And this is our third round, and each round we get more and more people signing up. And the cost is pretty much zero because we already created all the content once, and we don't need to recreate it. So once we create the content, we typically do a live webinar for the first class, and then we record those, and that becomes the instructional materials for the next classes. So it would work like a Udemy. And if you're doing LMS, and I know a few people are, so I'm going to spend a minute on it. If you're doing a learning management system, I'm sorry, I shouldn't use acronyms without explaining them. So LMS is Learning Management System, and it's a hot market right now because of all the stuff going on. But again, try to learn from people who've already done it and done it well. So I'm a registered instructor on Udemy, but I haven't put any classes up yet. So we'll just go here. Let others that are good teach you. And what I'm saying that for is if you come in here to Udemy, you can see how they put their classes up, and they're doing very well. And I've also signed up for a bunch of their classes because when you sign up for them, so like here's machine learning A to Z, hands-on Python and R. This happens to be one of the classes that I picked up because I want to learn how to code in these languages. And I have partners that are already good at that. So I don't need to be the best at it, but I want to at least have a good idea of the basic concepts. So that's $15. And for that $15, you get 285 lectures, 41 hours. And it's for all levels. It's kind of starts as if you don't know much. But what's cool about this is if you sign up as an instructor, one of the first classes you can take is how to create a good online class. So you can come in and use their tools to learn how to do well what they're already really good at, even if you're just going to use the concepts that you learn on your own site. But I always try to learn from people who are already doing things well whenever I'm going to get into anything. If I can't come out and do something, at least as good, then I have to be careful about why I'm, ask why I'm getting into the business. What do I bring? Okay, so it looks like we've got a few more questions here. I saw the question about Facebook account, and I think we covered that a little bit, but we'll cover it a lot more on the. Oh, I'm sorry, it dropped back. My SKU went up. Okay. Okay, so the couple of questions here that have come in since the last round. Is it wise to pay like 4K for a .com for a startup that they consider premium? It depends on what it is. It's like anything else. You have to see what the value is on the market and what the value is to you. Like, as I recall, the drugs.com domain, some kid in Arizona bought like a long, long time ago just because, and kept it, and ended up being able to raffle that off for like $1 million, or some big pharmaceutical company paid that to him. So if you get a big company, they'll pay tons of money, because on the scale that they do business, it's worth it. My brother-in-law used to work for Bell Labs, AT&T, at the time, and they when they were becoming Lucent, they did a new logo. And I don't know if any of you remember the Lucent logo, but it was basically, it looked like somebody took a paintbrush and painted a circle about 3/4 of the way around and just stopped and lifted the brush. And that was the logo. They paid $500,000 for that logo. That literally anybody with a first grader who could finger paint could have made the art, literally. But that worked out because they did focus groups with dozens of different people, hundreds of different people, and showed them a whole bunch of different logos, and wanted to know what kind of feelings they elicit. What do you think when you see this? What's the first emotion you feel? That sort of thing. And they came down to, okay, well, this is the best one. And if you're selling at the level and that they are across the planet, then picking one that's 2% better than a different one can mean millions and millions and millions of dollars. So if there's a domain that you absolutely need that's absolutely perfect, and you've got seed money or $100,000 to start your business with, and that's the perfect domain, then probably yes. If you're starting something where you don't know if it's going to make money or not, and you need to be careful with the amount of budget you have, then I'd say probably not. But it also depends on what the alternatives are. So I would probably start looking for alternatives, and you can also watch and see if it might expire. So take a look. A lot of those domains, when they show up like that, it's because somebody registered them and they're not really doing anything with them. So you can check and see if they're really doing anything with them. And if there's contact info, you might try going directly to them, depending on how you found out about it, and just say, hey, I see you've got a domain registered that you're not using. Would you be willing to turn it over to me or sell it for $100, $200, something like that? If they're currently paying for it and not doing anything with it, they might not think, and it could have been up there for years. You're just the first one that saw it, so they don't think it's going to move. You might be able to get that as opposed to some random number they put in. Like for example, I've got more than 300 domains registered. There are some of them I want to hang on to because I know I can do something for them or with them later. But I don't really plan on doing anything with them right now, and they're not that great of domains for what I do. So I've put some of them out there on the GoDaddy auction system, and said if somebody offers me $10,000, I'll sell the domain. Now I wasn't going out there trying to sell it, and I probably wouldn't sell it if somebody just said, hey, I'll give you $50. But if somebody, I just put that up there randomly, say, yeah, if somebody asks for 10 grand, I'll sell it to them. So, because I don't need it anyway. So it could be what this person did too. And you might want to think about going directly to them if you can. Here's another question. How do the classes qualify for CEU credit? You need to arrange that through the university. So we had an arrangement with Penn State University and with San Jose State University. Penn State ended up changing the person running their program and moving campuses, and they're kind of behind in processing. So we only saw San Jose State here right now. But you need to work with the university, and they'll tell you what the requirements are. And they'll probably want to see your coursework. One of the reasons it worked out well for us is we happen to know people who teach on these types of subjects at the university. So we connected with that person who teaches classes and helps with their recycling systems there. He's already familiar with me from when I served on the state board for the trade association and through other things I've done. And he knows my partner too. So he said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And that was our campus sponsor that got that done for us. And it definitely adds some credibility to it, so that people know you're offering a good product. And then when people come in, and this is being redone too, but basically they can come in here and we've got webinars that we've recorded. So after we record a webinar, they can come in and just click to participate or view that. Here's the system. I told you what we did. We put together a series of classes. We're selling that for $1,500, and we've already done it 3 or 4 times so far, and we're getting a lot of traction there. Like right now, as I mentioned, a lot of people that work for the city of LA are currently enrolled. Let's see, can we propose a site to you for your green education site and see if it's applicable to offer as a course, and then would you pay the affiliate? Not site, sorry, a course for your site. Yeah, if somebody's interested in that, we are open to it. What I would do is put you in charge of my partner, or put you in touch with my partner, Judy. She's the person who's handling all the programming. So as I said, I built the website and just kind of help wherever I'm needed with different things, but she's the one running it day to day. So if you are interested in putting up a course here, just get in touch with me outside of the class, and I'll introduce you to Judy, and then she can discuss the details with you. Okay, where are we? All right, so let's get back over here, kind of stay on track. So that's where we talked about the webinar archives and learning management systems, tutorials, educational videos. That's another one you can do. And then I should at least show you these different things that you can do with WordPress. So if for example, you had webinar archives, you can do it like we did here, and we're using WooCommerce combined with the LearnDash learning management system. And that's how all this works. I mentioned before the affiliate program. So somebody can come in here and sign up as an affiliate, and when they do, they'll get a custom link. And you can see the information we asked for here. So we want a resume, a bio, how they want to be paid, PayPal direct deposit or a mailed check. We get all their information. We ask for the W-9 because if you're going to pay out contractors, you need to collect that information to stay in legal compliance for the IRS. We have our terms of service. They agree. And I even put in a little signature block here. So that's not my real signature. So we can have people do electronic signatures of contracts, and then they submit it. We take a look through, all are subject to approval. Once we approve them, then they're going to get a custom link and some images. So they'll get like a little thumbnail for each class, and it'll have a link that includes their affiliate ID. They can put all that on their website or put it out in their social media, whatever they want to do. And if anybody clicks on it and buys the class, I don't remember what we set our commission at, but it all gets tracked automatically in the back end. And then once a month, it'll automatically pay their PayPal accounts from our account. So again, I try to automate everything to keep all the bookkeeping as easy as possible and the administration as easy as possible. So it all gets tracked and paid out of the back end of our website without us having to do anything. Okay, and we're caught up on questions again now. Okay, so that's what we're using for the learning management system, and it's by no means the only one. I'm the one who selected this one after looking at a bunch, but mostly because it had a few specific features that that Judy and we have a couple other people working with us now that they wanted. MailPoet is the mail newsletter version that we already talked about. That's part of the social media system. We'll talk about that a bit more next week. And then Paid Memberships Pro. This allows you to create membership levels on a website. So you can put all your content on the site, and then people have to pay for membership levels. And I'll just use bronze, gold, platinum. I generally don't like those examples for precious metals, but anyway, we'll just use those because they're kind of standardized. So when you come in, if somebody signs up at a bronze level, they might get access to a certain amount of content. If they sign up at a gold level, then they get more content. If they sign up to a platinum level, they get, unlimited content, something like that. And you could maybe make it well, gee, I'm just brainstorming here, so I don't really want to sit down and really think about that. But it could be anything from numbers of things they have access to. Suppose you were setting up like that social media system that we talked about. If somebody signs up for a bronze level, maybe they can include 5 social media platforms. If they sign up for a gold level, maybe 10. If they sign up for platinum, unlimited. So something like that. And then once you get them in, and you might want to have a free level, or maybe make it free for 30 days just to get people to sign up in the first place. But then you can put every time you go to create content, you'd say what level it is. So if I created a new page or a new post on a WordPress site, then I can say you have to be at this membership level to be able to access this information. And if they aren't, they can't see it. But when they go to click it, it'll say, hey, you need to be at this level. Would you like to upgrade? So it could try to sell them on increasing their membership level. LMS we covered about, and then of course there's direct e-commerce. So here's where you can do things, and this isn't just even our sites. So I talked about how you can sell things through your site. You can also sell on other sites. So for example, this is Shutterstock.com. This is where a lot of graphic artists and people that do creative work come to get images. So if you're a photographer or you do a lot with Photoshop or anything else, you can create content and put it up here on Shutterstock. And when Shutterstock approves it, if anybody goes through and buys, you obviously get a commission. And then the other thing you can do is sell Shutterstock photos on your site. So they have affiliate programs, just like we've talked about for the other options. Here's their affiliate reseller program, or become a contributor. That's probably hard to see. So share your work and start earning. So if you're the creative type, you can use their platform to sell your stuff on their network that they already built. Or if you've got enough traffic on your own site, then the other option we saw was to, where was it? Here we go. So affiliate reseller. So become a contributor or become an affiliate reseller. Join now and earn up to $300 per new customer purchase. So let's say you had a site on creative design. So you might do a blog on creative design, and you're trying to get designers to come to your site and make that the kind of community hangout for everybody online. Then you could have this affiliate program where you say, here are different options for graphics and images, and have this as one of them. I'd never have just one, especially if it's an affiliate account, because then it kind of looks like you're not really giving an honest evaluation, putting up there because you think it's a good resource. It looks like you're only listing that one because that's the one that pays you to list it. And if you do that, you lose credibility with your viewers. So I would put up, a few resources, and hopefully they all have affiliate programs. So you could, no matter which link they click, it would work for you, and you'd still get a commission. And then ebooks, we've talked about that through Amazon, but you can also do it through, here's a program here called ebooks, where you can also publish, and I think they also have a reseller program. So you can see those look pretty decent. That's the same product that, a high-level author like a Stephen King or somebody puts out a book. There's an example. So here is a Stephen King book. These days you can make something that looks exactly like that. So I say looks like. I wouldn't say reads like, unless some of you are really good authors. But anyway, you have the ability to compete with anybody out there using these types of systems. And so I think they also have an affiliate program. Yep, right here. So here's one for affiliates, authors, publishers. So you can either write a book and publish it through them, or be an affiliate and sell books that other people wrote. And since it's all ebooks, you don't have to worry about product delivery or anything else. They download them, they go right onto their Kindles or their tablets or their PCs, and they aren't using any paper. Then you don't have to worry about production costs and not printing enough and that sort of thing. Okay, and then WooCommerce we already talked about. that's where you go in and do physical products. And that's already available right now in the systems in our class site. So if you wanted to go in there, let's see, I know I had a link set up here. I'll give a quick overview of that. This was the link to the site itself, or to the plugin, and this shows you some of the different people using it. It's the largest there. Let's see, can you put links to these kinds of referral programs into your newsletter as well as your website? Yes, you can, but you need to be a little bit careful, because the more links you have in an email, the more likely it is to get filtered into spam. So if you put a lot of links in, people are, the way filters work, some of them are driven by AI, where they're just looking for different things that are flags. So there are numerous things they can look for with that, but one of them is how many links you have. So things that tend to be spammy have more links. So if you're not already like on a clean list and they see something coming out like that, you're more likely to go into the spam file. So one solution for that is to send a newsletter where it only has, where if they click anywhere on it, it takes them back to your website, so it's only one link, but it takes them to where they can read everything or get to your website where all your links to your affiliate programs are. As long as you're green lighted, if you're in somebody's safe list, so their spam filter won't, divert you, then sure, you can put as many links as you like. You can do anything you want with them. And that includes putting them into ebooks or putting them out on your social media platforms. All right, I think we're caught up here now. Let me see. Sorry, scrolling the wrong way. Yeah. Okay. So now, if you want people to come to your site, obviously the important thing is traffic. None of this matters if you don't have people visiting your site. It'd be like if you opened a restaurant with the best chef in the world and the best service in the world and everything, beautiful views, but there are only 3 people that live within 500 miles of your restaurant. You're probably not going to do very well. So you can have the best website in the world, but if nobody comes to it, nobody visits it, it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? You aren't going to sell much through it, no matter how good of a job you do. So you really want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to make sure that your website's responding well, it's meeting all the Google rules, and doing what people expect it to do when they get there. So there are a lot of different tools that are available. These are all free, and I'll show you how some of those work right now. Let me close some of these out to make our life simpler and not be opening up too many links here as it slows down. Yeah, we've covered all of this. So again, that spreadsheet we've been working from will be available on our website by the end of the evening, as will a recording of this class. And here's what I was talking about with YouTube. They updated as of May 1st. So now you have to have at least, there it is, once a channel reaches 4,000 watch hours in the previous 12 months and has 1,000 subscribers, now you're eligible to monetize it. It used to be you didn't need to worry about any of that. You could sign up and start right away. That's LearnDash, Shutterstock, WooCommerce. So here we are. I already have a bunch of them loaded. I thought I did. And here's the podcast thing I was talking about. So somebody asked about podcasts, and I had previously showed this site because it was a good place to do podcasting, and you could see how the advertising in the system worked. Now, one of the things cool for grassroots advertisers is you can see here, get your message heard by enough people to fill this stadium for as little as $100. Through this system, you can advertise on CNN, TMZ, a lot of really big name publications, and get your ads out at a national level for not very much money. So that's one way you can use this. And then the other way, of course, is to build a base of subscribers around your podcast and then advertise items there. Okay. All right. Somebody said I don't need to read this, so I won't read that one out loud. But from what I can see in the first couple of sentences here, I tend to agree with you. but I want to check that out more. If you're right, then I'll change that for the next class. I'll try to find a different option. So anyway, somebody just mentioned something about one of the companies that we've been talking about and some of their, we'll call them antisocial behaviors or connections. So I care about that kind of thing. So I'm going to research that myself. And if so, I'll look for alternatives to highlight in the future classes. And thank you for that. Okay, so let's go back to what we were doing here. So those are what podcasts are. And again, you can build your own audience there. This is a tool that was, I believe, originally created by Yahoo. Yahoo. And so you can go here to whyslow.org. And again, you don't need to write all this down. This whole sheet with all of these links is going to be available to you by the end of the evening on our class website. So I know it's hard to take notes and pay attention to what's on the screen at the same time. So that's what WhySlow is. And this will analyze your website and tell you what things you can do to make it perform better. Another one, this is a Google product called PageSpeed. And PageSpeed will do the same thing. So you can put in any website name and it'll analyze the site and tell you what you can do to make it faster. Like, just for the heck of it, let's try Facebook, since we've been bashing on them part of the night. I hope I don't sound like I'm nagging. There's some things irritate me. Well, that didn't do what I expected it to. I intended to not really do a search, do an analysis of a website. I guess here they're just talking to you about how you use it. But if you install it, you don't really have to install it. There should be a link. Let me see where it is. There are things you can install, but you don't have to. There's places where you can just test your site. And I used to have them saved in my toolbar, but I rearranged them recently. But basically, it'll give you a field. You put in the URL that you want to test, and it'll give you a full report on exactly what's going on and recommendations for improving. Boy, that's just bad design. I have to talk to somebody over there. I know people that work on Google's user side interface like this and the organization. Part of it is a problem that it's been done by so many people over so many years, and there's even a lot of outdated information. So you can search through Google's ecosystem about a question on a product, and it'll pull something up from 2010 that doesn't even apply anymore, but it's still buried in all of Google's information. They've got to have a better way to deal with that. So anyway, that's what this is. I'll make sure for the next class that I have a link to show you, so we can come back around on this. But again, it'll give you an analysis of your page speed, and then you can see here. I know where I've got that. All right. Sorry about that. I hate being defeated by my own systems here. Too many things saved. Okay, so, well, I do have a lot here, but I don't have that one, I don't think. Nope, removed. And there are also add-ons for Chrome. So if you go into, let's see, go into Tools, Extensions. I think there's one for WhySlow. No? Okay, let's try PageSpeed. There we go, Google PageSpeed. So if I turn that on, you can see it just popped up here. So I can go to any website. So let's go to Facebook. And then we'll do PageSpeed. So here we are, the battle of the decade, Facebook versus Google, who will come out on top. So what this is going to do is analyze the site and then give us a full report. And since I'm not logged in, I don't know what kind of information it's going to tell us. So it's giving this site a 86 out of 100 as a desktop version and saying it's mobile friendly. But I'm not sure what they're talking about here. So I could go into more information to see what that's all about. But these are the kind of tools you can use on your own website to figure out how you can make the user's experience better. Okay, so that's a useful tool. Get that out of the way. Here's where you can check for viruses. So if you're ever worried that your website might have been hacked, then this would be a good place to come and look. So what you can do, this is called sitechecksecurity.net. And again, that link is on our spreadsheet, so you don't need to write that down. But let's put in any website here. I'm guessing Ford is Ford.com. I don't know why I thought of Ford. I was just thinking, do something random. That's probably the automotive company. Well, that might be a long scan. I don't know how big and deep their site is. But what this is doing now is it's scanning that entire website, and it's going to tell me if it sees any signs of malware. And if your site has ever been hacked, I'll offer this. If your site ever gets hacked, I'll do one free get out of jail free card if you have access to the information I need. So if you have a website that got hacked, first I'm going to tell you, please follow the rules that I suggested so you don't get hacked. But if you do, contact me and I'll boot out the hackers and find the hole and lock it up and won't charge you anything. One time. Then it's up to you to keep all your software up to date after that and keep your WAF, your application firewall, uptight. But if something ever like that happens, don't panic. I've not found a site that got hacked yet that I couldn't get control of again. Unless the only caveat to that is if you fall for one of these phishing deals and you click on ransomware and it encrypts your hard drive, there's not much I can do or anybody else could do without a lot of forensic science involved. Encrypted hard drives are tough to crack, which is why I recommend everybody encrypt their own if you've attended my cybersecurity class, so nobody can do the same to you and take your information. All right, so let's look at, so this is what you can use. Again, it scanned all that. So you can put any website in there, or say you visited a website and you're worried that it might have had malware on it. You can come to this site and put in the name of the URL, and it'll scan that website for you and tell you whether or not it found any malware present. And if you do, it's kind of your moral obligation to contact the people on the site and let them know, because everybody who visits there might be getting infected. And a lot of times the people who run the website are the last to find out because they try to hide it from the website owners and developers. And a lot of times people are, they don't pay as much attention. They're just doing the admin stuff and they're not developers. They don't realize something's going on. And they'll use sites that you wouldn't believe. Like one of my clients has an employee and they were frustrated because we had an SSL certificate. Now they had to log in differently and they had to update their browser and they didn't want to do that because they were on a really old computer. And he said, why would somebody ever hack this type of website? It's not like we have a lot of financial information. Well, that doesn't matter. What they're hacking it for is to find a free host where they can do things that they wouldn't want to do publicly. So, for example, they could be selling drugs off of your website, off of your server, and you don't even know it. So they set up spam emails that would go out through a hacked email that tell people to go back to your site and make a payment for drugs or whatever else they might want to do that you don't want them doing. And they don't want you to know they're there. So they hide themselves pretty well. They obfuscate their code. They'll bury it in something else, and you can't even tell what's in there. So you got to be careful with that and just make sure you keep your security up to date. We talked about Google Analytics. So the old adage in marketing, and one of them, I didn't mean to use a pun, ad-age in marketing, but the adage in marketing is that you can't manage what you don't measure. And I was a marketing major for part of my college career, but more digital business analysis. It was quantitative marketing more than what looks pretty on a page kind of stuff. So we were doing analytics of different data sets and demographics and that sort of thing compared to product movement and how to optimize those sorts of things using algorithms and combinatorial optimization math. But anyway, it's still marketing, and you got to measure and see what's going on. So with Google Analytics, they describe it like creating a funnel. that you're funneling people to your action item. And now where people have gotten to is just put your action item right out at the top of the funnel. So you want your action items to be very clear and easy and something that people will naturally click. And when you do that, you're collecting data from everything. So you can see an example here they're showing on this laptop image. Oops, sorry about that. Having some Windows issues here. Not Microsoft Windows, just screen Windows. Anyway, that'll show you what's going on your site, where people are coming from. You can collect demographic information, anything else that you need. Here it is. So here's an example: how many people went to the solar panel details page, how many people submitted a form, how many of those were closed, opportunities for sales. So all of this stuff can come right out of whatever you set up in Google Analytics, and that's all free as well. Search Console is another Google product that used to be called Google Webmaster Tools, and they changed the name of it to Google Search Console. But after you set up your website and you're ready to go, while I'm working on my website, I tell Google, and there's a place to do it inside WordPress just with the check of a box, do not crawl this site. So you can block all Google crawlers. And you don't want them to find your site until it's ready, or else they'll scan the site, they'll crawl the site, and they'll determine what it should come up for in search, but you don't even really have it all set up the way you want to yet. So it's doing damage more than helping. So before I have my site ready to go live, I tell Google not to crawl it. And then when I'm done, I create a sitemap. I register it through Google Search Console and Google Analytics. And then I create a sitemap and I upload that where it asks me to. And then you can force Google to crawl your site. And so the other thing you can do through this Search Console is after you've created a site, say you go through and you make a lot of changes, Google already crawls on a regular basis, but how often it crawls is somewhat dependent on how frequently your site changes too. So they might not crawl as fast as you'd like them to. So you're allowed to force Google to crawl your site through this tool. And it's got a limited amount of times, but it's no limit I've ever reached. You know, it's something like 100 times a week or something like that. So if you made major changes to your site and you want to update Google's search results based on your changes, then you come through, you register it, and then you force Google to crawl it again. And this is what I was experiencing for 25 minutes before I was able to get on GoToWebinar today. Every time I tried to sign in, it was giving me this darn page. You've typed the URL correctly, and I absolutely did not. It's some kind of bug in their system. So those were all me trying to get in, and I finally figured out a way to get in through a back door. Not literally, not a hacker back door, but a way that people aren't really supposed to get in. I kind of went in through some different links and figured out how to open it up from a different way. And that's why we finally got launched about 4 minutes late. And I apologize again for that. So that pretty much covers what I had scheduled for today. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Oh, and this was just how to sell on Amazon. And I should mention again, it's worth mentioning that almost anything you want to know how to do, there's a YouTube video. So for example, somebody asked this question and I pulled up the Amazon instructions, but let's just do a case in point. I'm going to open YouTube here and I'm going to say how to optimize Amazon affiliate sales. Okay, so that was just off the top of my head, and I might have interest in this. So I will probably pull up dozens of videos, and of course. So here's people, how to increase your Amazon affiliate earnings, 5 Amazon affiliate marketing tips, make more affiliate sales with Amazon. So anything that you want to know, somebody has probably put a video on YouTube. So you have to use your judgment. You can look at how many people have viewed it, how long it is. Some of them are just like long and boring. Others, I can't stand the tone of voice or the energy level or something like that. So they're not all going to be good, but as you can see, there's tons of information here. And we typed one quick question and I'm still scrolling and we have not run out of people telling us how to sell on Amazon. How I made $27,000 with Amazon affiliate program in September. And they give proof. So Probably true. I don't know. I haven't watched this guy's video or this person. Yeah, I assume that's a guy, Diamond Dave. So I don't know, but I do know people make that kind of money. I just tend not to trust people who talk about it like this in these terms. If that's the case, why isn't he spending more time just doing this again every month instead of getting out there and probably, yeah, sure, here's what it looks like. Moneybuysdreams.com. So if he's making this kind of money with his affiliate program, why has he decided that he now needs to sell his ideas to make that kind of money with his affiliate program instead of spending the time on the program itself if it's getting that kind of ROI? But you get the idea. And this is true with anything. So let's talk about WooCommerce. So I remember when I was an undergrad in business school at a school called Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I remember hardly anything specific that I learned there, except what they kept drilling into us is that they weren't so much teaching us facts that we needed to remember for the rest of our lives. They were teaching us how to learn. So because that's the thing you do for the rest of your life. As fast as everything changes, none of this technology existed when I was in school. So if they would have taught me only about current technologies, then I'd be, back working in a coal mine or something. But if you learn how to learn, then you can constantly teach yourself anything you need to know for the rest of your life. And with YouTube, you can learn just about anything you want to know. So whenever you have a question on something, even, how to change a headlight in a 2000 Toyota 4Runner, I'll guarantee you there are videos on that. And I know because I used one. So come to YouTube and use it as a free resource for anything that you want to know how to do. And some of them might not be worth watching. Others you might find are fantastic, and you could subscribe to them, create your own playlists, save those that you like. Here's how to create an e-commerce website with WordPress online store. That's probably a WooCommerce thing. We know most of these others are. And so if you have questions, go to these and try to find more specifically, like if, say you're just figuring out how to add a product, then don't just put in WooCommerce, put in how to add a product. And that might get you to a little 2-minute video on how to add a product instead of an 1.5-hour video that covers everything. So here's one that's 11 minutes for product variations, which by that they mean sizes or colors. So if you have, say you have shirts that you offer in different sizes, that's what product variations are. So if you wanted to know it, you can just watch that video. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just adding products, here's one for 6 minutes. That'll give you a quick overview on how to add a product. And you can have that up on one screen while you're adding your product on the other screen and just keep hitting pause and follow it step by step. And once you do it once or twice, it'll feel like so simple you didn't know you're shocked you ever had to look it up. All right, so here's another question that came in. Other than not updating software, what else makes you vulnerable to security risks? Well, it can be your server software too. So not just the software within WordPress, but also the software running on your server. So you want to make sure you have the latest versions of the latest stable releases of PHP and MySQL if you're on a standard Linux platform. And your server company will always have those available. If they're even halfway decent, they'll be available. If they're not available, I would leave that server company as fast as possible because that keeps your site insecure. But most of them will have it available, and most of them will upgrade it for you if you ask them to. And then there's other times they might have left it on an older version because if they update it automatically, it'll crash some people's sites if their software is not up to date, depending on what they've done and how their site's built. So they're worried about doing that. So what they'll do is give you one little line of code that you can put into your, I believe it would go into your .htaccess file. Yeah, it's either that or your configure your index. I think it's your .htaccess. And it'll be one line basically saying start PHP 7 or something like that. And that'll just automatically then run that version of PHP on your site and you'll be up to date. And then the other thing, of course, is passwords. It's still shocking to me, but password is still the most commonly used password, or password 123. And if you were in my cybersecurity class, you would have seen the hacking demo I showed and how it works. And you can use something called Kali Linux, and they have different things called well, I won't get into all the terms, but there's basically a database online that any hacker can access, and they constantly update the most commonly used passwords and usernames. So don't ever use anything like admin or user or your domain name as your username. And in fact, if you really want to be cool about it, use a password generator to generate both your username and your password. And now that's going to be hard for you to remember, but there are ways to do that too. But I get deeper into that in the cybersecurity class. And then you can also put on, there's different security software you can put in the back end of your site, in your WordPress site. We already have it in our class site, but two that are pretty good are WP Defender and, oh shoot, I forgot the name of the other one, and I use it all the time. I use it on every site, and I can't think of it right now, but it's on our site. I'll come back around. So basically, keep software up to date in the back end, and use a good password, which length is generally more important than complexity for the most part. You don't really need all the upper lowers and all of that, as long as it's long. A lot of people have started using phrases. But keep strong passwords, strong usernames. And then the other thing I do with WordFence, that's what it is. That's the software we use on our site. Since I always know that I'm never ever going to forget my username, then I put in and my clients don't either, because I use their name. So my username might be Bob Hollis. I'm not going to forget that if I use that for every site. But then I set it up so that if somebody uses the wrong username once or even twice, depending on how tight you want to go, it'll automatically block the IP. So when somebody starts trying to hit me with a DDoS attack, a distributed denial of service, or a brute force hack, where they're just trying to guess passwords, as soon as they put in the wrong username, their IP gets blocked. And typically they have different IPs they can bounce off of, but it just becomes a game of them trying, getting blocked, them trying, getting blocked, them trying, getting blocked. So they don't even get to the password field. And that's another way to keep it secure. But almost all of it's just about keeping software up to date. That's the most important part. Okay, so we're just a couple minutes past 8:30, which is good since we started a couple minutes past 6:30. Do one more pass for questions here. Let's see if we're seeing any. Nope, it looks like we're good. So thank you, everybody. Please remember to fill out your course evaluation sheets, which again are on the student website over on that right-hand side column. I think I closed the page, so I'm not going to go look that up again. And I'll be converting this recording as soon as we hang up here. So it should be online by the end of the evening. And next week we'll be covering social media. So far we've talked about how you build the website, how you put the basic pieces together. And then we talked about themes to make it look good. And then we talked about monetizing it. So now it looks good when they get there and you've got stuff to sell and make money from. And now next week, we're going to talk about outreach and how you get people to get to the site. And then after that, we'll have some fun conversation in the next session. It'll be the first time I taught this one, but it's really cool stuff. And that's artificial intelligence and how you can use it with your own business without needing to know anything more than how to put something into an Excel spreadsheet. And we'll talk about social media bots a little bit too, that you don't have to pay anything for and can pretty much build yourself. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to being back with all of you next week. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye-bye.